History of cinema cameras: big, heavy, high quality, high resolution, nearly perfect natural look. Cinema cameras are the greatest inventions human ever invented. It is the best way to represent an art. World's first video camera invented by Louis Le Prince in 1888, and the clip you are seeing right now is the first ever video clip recorded by Louis Le Prince cinema camera. But this camera wasn't good for shooting an entire video. No 24 fps, it is a black and white camera and it couldn't shoot for a long time. But with all of this, it is the greatest invention at the time. So this is the starting of an entirely new way to represent a story with so much visual emotions. Before video camera, if someone wants to represent a story to people, the best way at the time was write a story on a paper. But in that way it is quite difficult to print exact same photocopy in reader's mind that what actually the writer wants to imagine. And after that, in 1889, another British inventor called William Francis Gary took out a patent for a moving picture camera that was capable of taking up to 10 photographs per minute, and he built the various versions of that camera, and after that he sent the details to Edison, which was also seen by a Scottish inventor and employee of Thomas Edison named William Kennedy Dixon. And after 1 year, in 1891, Dixon and his team invented a new video camera named Kitograph. So if you put Louis Le Prince video camera images right here and Kitograph image right here, so there is a slightly more better image you can expect from Kitograph. So now there is a problem. So when you shoot a video with Kitograph, you cannot see the video right through in your camera. What does that mean is, in modern cameras you shoot a video on your DSLR or on your mobile phone and you can easily see your video, you can easily preview your video. But in Kitograph, you shoot a video, then you can put your video clip in another device called Kitoscope, where you put your eye on a pinhole, then you can see your video, and only one person at that time. And Kitograph was not featured any live record sound, so it means that you cannot record any sound in your video until 1895, where Thomas Edison and Laurie Dixon experiment a video clip where they try to add a live record sound on their video, and the experiment goes very well, and luckily here's the clip of first live recorded sound video. So you can easily tell that the audio quality you are listening right now and the audio quality in that video is not close at all. This is the result of decades of progress. And by the way, there is a very different looking video camera that I want to talk about is chronophotographic gun. Literally gun, because it's very similar to a shotgun. It's invented by Anthony Jules Mary, a French scientist. In 1892 he invented that camera. It could easily capture 12 photos per second on his chronophotographic plate. And at this point, all the video cameras that I talked about is using analog format to capture moving picture. Is that mean is all the video cameras are using either 35mm stock films or a photographic plate. So at this point, movie camera was capable of taking a motion picture with live audio, but you notice that in Louis Le Prince video camera footage and in Dixon videos camera footage, you see that none of those video clips were colorful. So those videos are black and white. So until 3rd March 1900, where a British inventor called Edward Raymond Turner invented a new type of camera that was capable of taking colorful moving images. Turner's camera using a rotating disc with 3 color filters, red, green and blue, to photograph color separation on one roll of black and white film, and a green and blue filter image was recorded on each successive frame of film. And then the finished film was projected on a colorful projector, which was also invented by Edward Turner in 1892. And this experiment, this whole camera setup and projector was not that much successful because it had its own problems. By the 1903, George Albert Smith introduced a new motion color process called kinemacolor, which was the first successful commercial color process adapted between 1908 to 1940. So this is how colors introduced in cinematography, and as you can guess that over there are many big improvements happen in the field of color cinematography. So since 1890, all the video cameras were using analog film stock to capture a motion picture. So that's why you see two big circle boxes on a cinema camera. But modern, as we've seen in modern video camera, they don't need analog video film to capture motion images. They just use a digital sensor to capture motion pictures. So how did it start? The first successful imaging technology called CCD, charge capsule device, invented by William Sterling Ball and George Edward Smith in 1969. So before digital sensors, all the professional level TV broadcast video cameras were using flying spot scanner using a mechanical disc, and they stored footage in films for a long time, and they all showed in black and white.
Stand by for the opening night of the National Television Service.
Hello there, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and children.
But in 1953, the RCA TK40, the first practical colorful video camera, were introduced.
1, 2.
And in 1980, CCD sensors are introduced in professional level video cameras, but they're not immediately adopted, because if you compare films camera footage and CCD camera footage at this point, so you can see the clear difference in image quality. So that's why it's not immediately adopted in professional level broadcast video cameras. So after some big improvement in CDC centers, mostly all the professional level video cameras replaced with CDC sensor camera, and they use flash memory to store footage. So this is the overall story of professional level broadcast TV camera. Now talk about consumer level video cameras. So consumer level video cameras are generally smaller, generally more portable in compared to professional level video cameras. So here we see a new type of camera called camcorder. So in professional level video cameras, the camera and the storage device are the separate two things. That means you have a camera and you have a separate device where you can store your footage. So in camcorder, the tape that are using to store images are built in the camera. So you have one small video camera. So camcorders were introduced with various sizes. For professional use, you have a big camcorder that you can put on your shoulder, and for consumer level, we also have very small camcorders. So but overall, camcorders are not the best way to capture a moving picture, not the best way to record a video, because they're not offering that much of video clarity and video quality. So that's why DSLR cameras introduced in cinematography world. So DSLR cameras generally provide much better quality if you compare to a camcorder. So the first DSLR camera created by a Kodak engineer called Steven Sisson in 1975. So this camera only takes photos, black and white photos, and it's weighed about 3 kgs. So this is not a practical video camera at all. So that's why Sony released their first consumer level DSLR camera, the QV1000C. So DSLR cameras also improved a lot over the years. At first they use a specialized film to record a motion picture, but after that they are also replaced with SD cards. So as you can see that DSLR cameras are everywhere, they are very popular. And in 1986 Kodak developed a camera with 1.3 MB CCD image sensor. This was a huge deal at that time because this was the first DSLR camera with over 1 million pixels. And this camera created especially for US government, but eventually the commercial version of this camera launched in 1991. So all the commercial cameras that I talked about is mainly focused on film studio or a specific use and for government, but none of those cameras are made for normal consumers like you and me. But Fujifilms announced the Finefix X1, the first commercial level DSLR camera. So at this point, all the DSLR were only featuring photo capturing feature. None of those cameras was featuring a video recording mode. But Nikon released the D90, the first ever DSLR camera who were featuring video recording in 2008. So this was the huge improvement in videography. And in June 2012, Canon announced the first DSLR camera featuring a touchscreen Canon EOS 650. So you can say that this is the early history of cinematography, and like analog video cameras, DSLR cameras also improved a lot over the years, and now we have another type of video camera called mirrorless cameras, and now we have a great mobile phone tiny cameras. So I think we completed the early history of cinematography in this video. So this is the brief history of early cinematography. If you enjoyed the video, please give a like. If you want to see more videos like this, so please subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.